A restaurant in Chicago has cracked a hidden code in the food industry and is now making millions. But what code? Food can teach you about a culture better than any history book. You can learn about a tribe's lands and ancient civilizations by watching how they steamed their meat or ate their vegetables. This is the code Kasama, a restaurant in Chicago, has cracked and is making bank with. But how did they do this? First, don't forget to subscribe and stay up to date with these chef food lover vibe videos. Kasama has a powerful twist to their meals you will not find anywhere else. But it's not just the food. It is set in a beautiful space with an ambience that is worth the experience. And it doesn't even do that much. The setting is simple and very homey. So homey, you'll find yourself relaxed while digging into the most memorable courses. It has an impressive kitchen framed by a counter, and diners can even watch the chef's work. Under the windows, you will find banquettes, which make for comfy seats, especially during the day when the space operates as a bakery. The dining room is quite long, with about a dozen bar seats, and it also has tables that seat a maximum of 6 people. But apart from the twist in their cuisine, one of their most impressive characteristics is their staff. Kasama's staff are usually very friendly and very efficient, even with the overwhelming number of orders for both dine-in and takeout. This leads us to this important warning. Order ahead. The food is so good that people are constantly cramming to get in. The line can get so long and even hit the streets early in the morning on weekdays. Do not be decided by Kasama's unassuming neighborhood cafe look. It is the most popular restaurant in the entire city, and its barrage of reviews proves it. That is saying something since Chicago is filled with world-class restaurants. And why not? You're not just buying food, you're buying an experience that will offer you something you have never seen before. What is that? Well, Kasama is a hybrid bakery and modern Filipino restaurant that's open all day and serves strictly Filipino meals from kare-kare, which is peanut-based stew, to bagoong, which is a shrimp paste. But what makes it so special? The fusion does. The word kasama is a Tagalog word which means together. And just like its name, the restaurant unites Filipino meals with fine dining. To understand better, you must meet its owners. Kasama is the brainchild of a smart and food-loving couple, Tim Flores and Jeannie Cuona. Tim and Jeannie imagined a world where the best parts of their background could play in edible forms, and they built that world. They brought the best of the food background and fused them together to create magic. Their different backgrounds can be seen even in their restaurant strategy. For example, Flores' background can be seen in the modern interpretation of every meal, while Kwon's pastry training adds sweetness to the cuisines, and the sweetness he adds can never be underplayed. The pastries always look like a masterpiece, but that is not where their attempted fusion ends. In fact, this is the best part. The couple has taken homey traditional Filipino meals and transformed them into elegant dishes. So if you're Filipino, you will be pleasantly surprised to enjoy your adobo with mussels and wild mushrooms that will taste tangy, sweet, and even savory. Your desserts too, like a mais con hielo, will come with sweet corn semifreddo and milk granita. Their day or breakfast meals though come with some difference. During the day, they serve traditional Filipino breakfasts, but they also serve some incredible and popular pastries. We can simply tell you that their breakfasts are really good, or we can describe their long queues, which often extend for more than 3 blocks. Note that there are no reservations for the day service, so to escape the long queue, you might have to order from pickup. If you ever try this out, make sure to order their ube huckleberry basque cake. That is one delicious cake. You should also try their berry creme fraiche cheesecake and their black truffle croissant. One bite of this truffle will create an addict out of you. The almond croissant and the chocolate and salted caramel tart are also quite good. Also try the salmon Danish, matcha pandan eclair, and mango tart with coconut cream and lime. Apart from breakfast and lunch, Kasama also serves dinner. In fact, dinner is their most memorable offering since they offer an incredible fine dining experience. And no, you don't have to love fine dining to enjoy their main courses. So, take a trip to Chicago and make a reservation days ahead of time. It is quite pricey, but it is also worth it. The tasting menu is served only at dinner and consists of 13-course Filipino-inspired meals with optional beverage pairings, a takeaway gift, and sometimes a basque cake. Each course is modest in size, and you will definitely leave feeling really full. To keep the suspense and heighten your experience, the restaurant usually keeps a list of the tasting menu away from you until your course arrives and blows your mind with its inventiveness and flavors. but it has been said to be one of the best tasting menus ever. You'll find yourself excited by the delicious food while basking in the warmth of Filipino tradition. And this is what the creators hope for. An excited Flores once shared that their goal was to make native Filipino food accessible to people who had never had it before. So they made a plan for a cafe that sold pastries baked by Kwon in the morning and lumpia and sandwiches in the afternoon. This cafe opened in 2020 and it didn't do badly. However, at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, their human labor decreased while their customer base increased because many had to work from home. Many restaurants folded up during this time. But while they were folding up, Kasama expanded from a cafe to a restaurant. Their scramble to save their restaurant pushed them to put together a tasting menu, which eventually saved them. And save it did. On their opening day, they met quite a shocker. People had already queued up even when it was still early in the morning. That day, they sold so much food and even sold out. That day, many customers ordered savory dishes, like their longanisa sausage breakfast sandwich, mushroom adobo, and their standout pastries. Looking down at their empty pots, Flores and Quona realized they had a winner in their hands, so they kept at it. Today, Kasama has grown from being a mere restaurant and is now a source of immense pride for Filipinos worldwide. There's no better dining experience than the one where the chefs share the source of their ingredients and tap into their deep cultural heritage. Flores and Kwon have been doing just that. They have been pouring their heart and soul for over 5 years into building something special for the people of Chicago by masterfully blending traditional Filipino flavors with contemporary culinary techniques and creating space that celebrates Filipino heritage in the heart of Chicago. Each of their meals tells a story of their rich cultural history, bringing the vibrant and diverse cuisine of the Philippines to an international audience. So it's amazing that their efforts are finally being celebrated. It began when a Michelin guide first added Kasama's tasting menu to its Bib Gourmand list in 2021, and blew up when they were awarded a Michelin star in 2022. Ever since then, the praises have been raining constantly. Louise Chu of the Chicago Tribune calls Kasama one of the best restaurants in the world. In 2021, Esquire called Kasama one of the best new restaurants in America. In the same year, Kasama was included in the New York Times 50 places in America we're most excited about, and Eater's 11 best new restaurants in America. It was even nominated for the James Beard Award for Best Restaurant of 2021 and 2022. And the magazine Robb Report ranked it as the 3rd best new restaurant in America in 2022. They also named Tim Flores and Jeannie Kwon as the best chefs of the year for their efforts in opening the restaurant during the COVID-19 pandemic. This year, Kasama also ranked number 5 in Food and Wine's top 20 restaurants in the US. And the restaurant was even featured in the TV series The Bear, which is set in the restaurant scene of Chicago. Apart from several awards and recognitions, they have been given high ratings all over social media by their customers. Many have said that their food is exceptional, and a particular visitor even described it as a wonderful blend of flavors and textures that delighted the palate with every bite. But seeing is believing, or in this case, tasting is believing. Take a trip to Chicago and delve deep into their dreamy meals. If you do make the trip, make sure to try their pork belly adobo. Reviews have called it a masterfully flavorful dish. You could also try their mushroom adobo, charred corn, and cafe mansi. The 13-course tasting menu used to be $215 per person, and their beverage pairings cost only $115 per person. But now their tasting menu is $285. Optional beverage pairing is $185, and non-alcoholic pairing is $95. So make the trip now before it gets even more pricey. The experience is worth the price, however, and you will definitely find yourself wishing you could return often. Note though that Kasama is open only from Wednesdays to Sundays. Do not go on a Monday or Tuesday. Also note that their daytime service is done over the counter, and it's a first-come, first-served service that begins at 9 a.m. But go earlier if you want to beat the long queue. Have you been to Kasama too? Do you think it's worth all the hype? Drop your review in the comments below. Also, like and subscribe to keep up to date with all our new chef-inspired videos.